Welcome back to Worthington Model Railway. There's been quite a lot of discussion online about these new Bachmann 009 Fletcher Jennings locos. So let's take a look. So there's been a lot of discussion online and on YouTube about these Bachmann locomotives. They're based upon the Railway Series locomotives, and so they're not exactly the highest detail, and the prices are all over the place. I paid $109.99 a piece for these dollars in the US. So that works out to, what, about £81 at current exchange rates. The RRP in the US is $179. I've seen them everything from 104 to just looking 129, and the 129 is from where I bought them for 109 last week. So it's just kind of weird. In the UK, they're way more expensive, and I don't believe they haven't been released yet, but I don't believe there's going to be anything different about them. In the UK, the RRP on them is $149.25, and Rails currently have them for £126.86 to pre-order. So either way on the pricing, as these seem pretty cheap, I thought, as I say, for $100 a piece, give or take, I'd order a couple of them, and so I ordered the red one and the green one. So we'll take a quick look at these. So looking at the box here, we got item number 59102 and 59103, HON30 because we're in the US, but 009 equivalent, and they're both Fletcher, Jennings and Co. 042ST, Tallyllyn locomotive, one in red and one in green. So let me get them out of the box and we can take a bit more of a look at them. So opening them up, we do actually have a breakdown of parts here. And there actually are quite a lot of parts on this. The question is really going to be, is there room in there for a DCC decoder? And then I'm going to have to sort of try to look and see. So we'll do that a little bit later after we've had a look at them and see if I can find room to put a DCC decoder in them. Well, I'm taking them out of the box. One thing you do notice is that they do both have a fair bit of weight in them. I'm sure there's a substantial amount of die-cast in there. It's not just plastic. The paint job on them and the lining job is really, really nice, as is the printing, etc. We'll zoom in a minute and look at some of that. But the disappointing piece of this is that, I don't know if you can see in here, but there's nothing in the cab. Let's sort of zoom in a little bit on one of these. I mean, there's nothing there. It's just a black hole. I'm sure that there may be an opportunity here for somebody to create some cab detail on a 3D print, maybe even be able to put that in there. But just disappointing after some of the really nice cab detail on a number of the other Bachmann locomotives that we've looked at, that they didn't do something similar with these. Yes, I know these came from the Thomas and Friends molding. The other thing about that as well is that there's no glazing in the front windows. The front windows are just big black holes. The rear windows, there's no glazing either, but at least the windows in the rear are open. So, I mean, we can see into the cab there. Okay, so let me zoom in on these and let's take a little bit more of a look. We'll do each one in turn. So let's start off with the red one. And as you can see, it says Tallyllyn, and the wheels on this are very nicely picked out in red and silver. Obviously the valve gear is not that detailed, again I think because it's coming from the Thomas and Friends molding. The paint job's nice. There's a little bit of detail on the front there, but I mean, it's nothing to write home about. There's really doesn't look to be a lot of separately fitted parts. I'm going to zoom out a little because this is not focusing for whatever reason. Here we go. So yeah, that's it. Let's take a quick look at the green one. Again, you know, very nicely lined, nice printing, nice detail all around. I say detail, I mean from a point of view of, you know, it being painted and put together, it looks good, but again, there's nothing in that cab, which is, I don't quite know what Bachmann are thinking. Wheels on this are just blackened, and again, it's not fine in terms of the piston and the valve gear there, in comparison to some of the other things we've been seeing from Bachmann. But at the price I paid for these, I think that's okay. At the RRP from the UK, I don't think it's fine, and even the RRP for the US, I don't necessarily think it's fine. But we'll have to see how these run, and also I'm going to do a quick bit of investigation, see if I can DCC fit them. I'm not going to try to DCC sound fit them, but if I can at least DCC fit them, that would be good from my point of view, because my 009 section of the layout is DCC. I could unhook it and run DC, which we can do if we need to actually see how these things run. So just for fits and giggles, I thought I'd stick it on the rolling road with a DC. It's actually just a 9-volt battery I'm using, and see how it runs, and it seems to run fine. Let's spin the battery around and run it the other way. Yep, seems to be running fine that way too. Let's try the green one. And there I have the green one running. They both seem to run actually quite nicely, particularly straight out of the box. As I'm just using a 9-volt battery, I can't really speed it up and slow it down, but actually it'll be interesting to see how it runs. Okay, let me get one of these open and see what options we might have for DCC fitting. So I've looked at the exploded diagram that comes with the locomotive, and I cannot for the life of me work out how to get this thing open. I've removed a number of screws, but none of them seem to be doing the job. I'm going to go, let's see if I can do a little bit more research and find out how to get this thing open. There actually is PCB in here, so there is a circuit board in there, but I don't know what it is, or if it's DCC capable, or we can change it out for a chip. Don't really know, and there's really nothing in the instructions to help me, so I'm going to go online and see what I can find out. So it's a couple of days since I started putting this video together. I did some research online as to what some of the options here are. As I said earlier, this locomotive from Bachmann is based upon their Thomas and Friends Skarloey, which is one of the reasons why it's a little sparse in terms of some of the components, particularly that cab detail and the glazing. I discovered there are options around these, and a company called 4Ds do some kits, and those kits are designed to take that Bachmann Skarloey and convert it into one of these Tallyllyn locomotives. And some interesting stuff there. Those kits are obviously 3D printed. They're not that expensive, £30 I think, something like that. So if you wanted to do that, that's a possibility. The other thing that I discovered by watching a couple of YouTube videos out there is people have not done much in terms of DCC fitting these, and part of that is for a reason. So Tram Fabrique will convert these to a DCC sound module, and they put a little tiny speaker in the middle of the cab for a fee. So that's one option. In terms of trying to do this yourself, from what I can see, there is no easy way to get the body off these apart from disassembling the whole locomotive. I think from what I saw on that Tram Fabrique video, which really only shows it running with sound, it doesn't show the fitting, there is probably room to get one of those very small decoders, something similar to what I put into the Pico England's. But taking this all apart and then trying to get it back together again, I'm not really sure it's worth it. However, never say never, I might do one. The other interesting things I learned is that the things about these models that are not quite right are the size of the piston bodies. They're too big, they hang over too far. The 40s model does have that correction in it. And the other piece of it is that there should be no coal on the right-hand side. The coal bunker on the left-hand side is correct, but the actual working locomotives had no coal bunker on the right-hand side. I think all of this, at the end of the day, when you're seeing these on the layout, you really don't notice at that distance, and the detail and the lining on them is really superb. I mean, I don't know. I'll zoom in a little bit, and we can look at some of that detail, and some of the rivet detail particularly is amazing. Although we don't get separately fitted handrails and some of that other stuff that we're kind of used to these days. So I will run them on the layout, but I'm just going to hook up a DC controller to run them. That's fine. I mean, I can switch from DCC to DC really quickly. So I will do that, and let's sort of run these and see what they look like running around on the layout. So hopefully with a zoom in there, you can see some of that rivet detail that I was talking about and how fine the lining is. As I say, it's not separately fitted in terms of things there for the most part. A couple of things on the front end are, if we move around a bit, we can see some of that. But as I say, the riveting detail and the lining detail is really, really nice. Again, with the nameplates, there's no etched nameplates to put on there. The ones that are on there are, I would say, okay at best. They're so small it's very difficult to read them. So as always, thanks for watching. These Fletcher, Jennings and Co. 042 ST Tallyllyn locomotives in both red and green. If you like the video, please hit that like button, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe button to the top right. Please subscribe, it's free.
Helps me with YouTube's algorithms. And there'll be another video to the top left. We'll see you soon.